Hi, and welcome to Peter Success channel. A little bit of a different video. I've been kind of getting away from guns and a lot more into knife making, which had I started this YouTube channel, a few years before when I did, there would have been a whole lot of this on that channel. I was obsessed with it, which I kind of am again, for a variety of reasons. Basically, I got into Instagram and saw all the knife makers and stuff there, and then shit like Forged in Fire started making it way more popular and sort of thing, and I was like, I really miss doing that. And I started buying a thing here, a thing there, and eventually I ended up selling almost all my guns to buy knife making tools. And a few other things too that aren't in here, but anyway, I kept a few guns too. We may do a video on those at some point in the future. But for now, I figured a shop tour might be pretty cool. Forgive the shakiness of the camera. But I'm on a tripod and handheld, so. The shop is a mess, as it always is. I would wait till it's clean, but it never fucking will be. For instance, if you look at the floor in here, all that dust used to be bars of steel and pieces of wood and shit. That's just the nature of this fucking shit. I think the best place to start is over here. Let me move the flag. That is a miter saw that I have been meaning to buy a chop saw blade for the better part of a decade. That's one of the first tools that was ever in this shop, and it has never been used. This drill press, which has seen slightly better days, actually, was the first machine tool I ever bought. I've had this since I was into knife making over 12 years ago. As it turns out, being able to drill a perfectly vertical hole through steel, or being able to drill a hole in steel at all, is kind of critical. I like this thing. I think I paid $150 for it at Lowe's. It's a Hitachi, whatever. And kind of scattered around it is a bunch of shit, some of which has nothing to do with it. There is a drill vise there, which there's another one back over there somewhere. This is the work rest for the belt sander that you guys saw a second ago. Cutting fluid wise, someone recommended I use WD-40. I don't know if it's the best cutting fluid in the world, but it's definitely better than nothing. And it's cheap, and the can lasts a long time. And it's not as much of a mess to clean up as some other shit. As you can see, it is kind of a mess though. And there's bits and other shit there too. That's probably the first couple of tools I ever bought right there. Another trip down memory lane is the fucking Harbor Freight 1x30 belt sander, which is now a dedicated leather stropping machine like to sharpen blades with. Don't leave these on the grinder. It stretches out the belts. People will tell you, don't leave those on the grinder either. All the fucking grinding belts, those don't fucking matter. Those are fucking, at the most $10. Okay? Like if you have a really expensive belt, it's $10 or $15. This little tiny fucking belt by itself is like 20 or 30 bucks. And it will be shit within 2 weeks if you leave it on the grinder. And that belt could last you forever. So just don't do that. This thing you see here, it was actually a desk that used to be in my bedroom when I was a kid that I attached the supports to the staircase here. That's what this is. It's a staircase into the house. And I have yet to attach the table to the supports. So it's just kind of sitting here collecting random shit like a flat surface tends to do in a shop. All of this is going to go somewhere else pretty much. They did make a nice spot for the fan this summer though, because it was hotter than shit. Anyway, once all that's gone, about 2 feet of this thing is going to get cut off, and it's going to get mounted up there, and this is going to be the bandsaw and probably that chop saw and maybe a couple other things mounted to it. But it's not much to look at right now. But yeah, that was my first grinder. Actually, this is the 6th grinder because I killed 5 of those. So this is the surviving one. It's still going. This was the 2nd grinder. This is... I don't know exactly what brand this is. I can't seem to find one on it. Harbor Freight sells an identical model. However, theirs is shitty and this one's not. This one I know had to have been bought in the 70s, maybe even 60s. Old man across the street from my grandfather, who was friends with my great-grandfather, was a woodworker and had this thing out there. And when he died, his widow sold it to my grandfather with a bunch of other shop tools, and he gave it to me. So I use this thing a lot, believe it or not. Like, even now that I have a 2x72, which we'll get to in a minute, this 6-inch by 48-inch belt is fucking great for a lot of things. Like, if you don't have one of these in your shop and you do anything related to fucking woodwork or knife making or whatever, I don't ever use the disc sander. But the belt is fucking awesome. Like, I don't have a surface grinder, so forgive the shit sticking to it, but I have a welding magnet in this thing, and it does a pretty damn good job. I think that's all I have to say about that. This thing is my baby now. Shop chair. This is the Ameribraid. I think it says on the side of it. Ameribraid 2x72 belt grinder. This one has the speed control and pretty much all the bells and whistles they offer. I have on order right now a DD work rest and knife grinding jig, which I'm hoping to use to do some different bevels and stuff that I can't currently do. Pretty excited about that. That's like a $600 purchase. So this bitch was the better part of $2,000. And if you notice, glued to it, that is a free bet blackjack token. I paid for this thing entirely with gambling profits. So I think it's pretty slick. I won a whole bunch of money playing blackjack and spent it all on this. Like, not all of it. I spent most of it on this. Things I like about it. It's a whole different animal from those other 2 sanders. I mean, first off, you're thinking that's kind of loud? No, I wouldn't even start those other 2 on here. That is fucking quiet as shit for a belt grinder. The 72-inch belts last forever. I burn out 1x30 belts in that little green thing. Like, dozens to make a knife. I have yet to burn out even a handful of belts on this. Which is, why I'm really glad that I bought 20 billion fucking belts, which we'll get to that in a minute. As it turns out, I didn't need that many. I guess I'll never have to buy belts again, or not for a long damn time. Because, like, this belt here, this is a Scotch-Brite. I think this is, like, the number 2 belt, so it's not the coarsest, but it's towards the lower end. I use it a lot for final finish before I go to heat treat, and then cleaning up after heat treat. And then I'll use the finer ones to fully like mirror polish it or whatever. I don't ever do a true mirror polish, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so I use that belt to finish the fucking blade at least twice every knife I make, and I've made, the better part of 30 knives since I bought this grinder, and I have yet to burn out one of those belts. In fact, I've only really burned out 2 belts on this whole thing. One was a 400 grit belt, and the other one was like a 120 that I just used the shit out of. Both of them aluminum oxide. The ceramic belts don't burn out at all. These orange ones over here, like this one, I got all these from Combat Abrasives, which if you're into knife making, you should know them, because this whole wall of fucking belts here, forgive the light, this whole wall of belts, I forget how many belts it is, but it was a 50-pound box of belts, was about $600 worth, and anywhere else, those same belts would have probably been a couple grand. So it's a substantial savings. While we're here, this is the steel storage. The 5 on the left are 5160, the 5 on the right are 1095. I was always an 01 fan. Anymore, 01 only comes precision ground, which is really, really great if you need it. But if you don't need it, it's paying a lot of extra for no reason. At least everywhere I find 01, it's only precision ground. I assume it is everywhere. The 1095, I think, is cold rolled. The 5160, I would bet good money it's hot rolled. I'm also pretty sure that all the 5160 in the United States right now is from Toyota. So that's kind of cool. Where to next? Oh, we can go there. That is a table saw I never use, covered in junk. Along with that other drill vise I was talking about. And this is the rest of my steel and some other tools on top of it. Some of that's 01. If it's a 3-foot length, it's over here. If it's shorter than that, it goes up there. And if it's been in progress, it's over there under the fan or somewhere scattered about the garage. Water bucket. You wouldn't believe how much fucking use that thing gets. Like, if you're gonna make any kind of knives, get a couple of buckets. They come in really fucking handy. Shit. That is a foot pedal that I just stepped on for that thing. We'll get to that in a minute. This is an oscillating spindle sander, which is pretty fucking awesome. This thing goes up and down and rotates. And the 1-inch one is perfect for making knife handles. Mainly because I do a lot of those little finger choily looking things. We'll get to that stuff in a minute. This thing is the single best purchase I've ever made. This is a the fuck is that company called? Milwaukee Portaband, and a Swag off-road table. It's not secured yet because it's going to go back over there where that fan is, but this whole thing with the foot pedal and everything was about $400 or $500, I think. It's been about a year since I bought it, so a little fuzzy on exactly how much, but I think it was like $500 if you bought the saw new and like $400 if you didn't buy it new. The awesome thing about it is a metal cutting bandsaw of any variety is generally, a vertical metal cutting bandsaw of any variety is generally $5,000 or $6,000 and up. This one being $500 is a bargain, and it does everything a knife maker could ever fucking need it to do. Like I said, we'll get to this stuff in a minute. That is a bunch of junk and white rags. White rags are awesome. Trash bags are awesome. Shelves I need to empty of shit. Stuff that my family has in storage in my fucking garage that they need to come fucking get. This thing I'm pretty proud of. That is a old file cabinet that I think I paid $50 for at a fucking guy on Craigslist who sells junk. For a tool cabinet in this garage, it's fucking awesome. Mostly what I store in there is like materials to make stuff that I haven't used yet. Most of the tools and stuff get used so frequently that they're sitting out someplace. So, the TV gets Netflix and Netflix only. I don't really use that much, but I had it extra, so I put it in here, and it is kind of nice because there is a couch out here too that basically it's too broke to be in the fucking house, but it's not broke enough to bother throwing away, and it makes a nice place to sit and think out here. So you can hang out here, have a party out here, do whatever if there's people over. It's sort of a shop / man cave. This thing is another thing I'm actually pretty proud of. First off, fire extinguisher, very important. We'll get to all that shit in a minute though. That is a wheel off some big truck that somebody welded to a plate, so that they could mount a vise to it. I got the vise there and the stand, along with this little pipe vise that I never use, all for $100. It's a fucking great deal. Right now I have an anvil sitting on there because it's probably going to stay up here. This is a little cheapo Chinese cast anvil. It's cast steel, not cast iron. You can tell because of the bounce in the ring. Anyway, it was $140 on eBay. I don't use an anvil all that much, but I'm trying to use it more. And as such, I have a 110-pound Peter Wright anvil sitting in a guy's garage in Minnesota, which I'm in Oklahoma, so that's going to take a bit to get here. That is going to be set somewhere around the base of this thing. I don't really know yet. Probably right there. But yet, I kind of want a higher, smaller anvil for other stuff, so I'm probably going to hang on to that one too, especially doing pins and shit. It's just nice to have. Anyway, this is the forging area officially. There on the left is my single burner tiny forge that was a gift from a friend. It gets used often and will probably continue to be used actually in the future. It's just the right size for a lot of shit. And the thing next to it, this big monstrosity, is a big 3-burner Majestic forge. Majestic. It is the Farrier Deluxe, is what they call that. It's like a $600 forge, and as you can see, it's not even put together yet. The burners and hose and all that shit are missing. They're in the other room, yet to be put in. Basically, I'm just lazy. It took me a whole month to get that stand that it's sitting on ready for it to sit on. The stand is actually pretty cool. I've had that stand since I was a kid. That was my great-grandfather's grinder stand. My grinder probably could fit on there, but it's a little wobbly. It needs some shit done to it, and I need something to put the forge on now. And that works. It's about the right height, right everything. I really got lucky with that thing. That's probably a couple $100 I don't have to spend. And it's repurposing cool shit. The bolts I took off the top of it that were holding like a spindle on there had been on there since before World War II. I cracked them off about a week ago. I think that's really fucking cool. As you can see, we have a lot of propane. Not near enough, but for what we're doing right now, 3 small, those are 20-pound tanks, are good enough. I would like to have 3 or 4 100-pound tanks, or one big-ass 500-pound tank that they come and fill, but then you kind of get into that realm where it's like you're spending so much on propane when you do fill the thing that you regret fucking filling it. Because like filling those, the whole thing would be like $50 to fill all 3 of those. To fill one of those 500-gallon ones, it could be quite a bit, you know, a couple $1,000s. The cart that the small forge is on is my grandfather's tool cart from American Airlines. It's not really meant to be a forge stand, but it kind of turned into that because it's metal, and that forge is up on a little rack, as you can see. This forge sits straight on the brick, so I can't put that on there. It would just melt through that fucking aluminum cart. But for that little one, it works. And it kind of makes it where you have a portable forge, which is actually kind of cool. Shop chairs out the ass, because chairs are nice. That is some walnut that I stole out of somebody's firewood pile up in Kansas. I got walnut and Osage orange, which is what this is. It's already cut up. They were just going to burn it. There's definitely some good knife handles in there. That desk that all that crap is sitting on is eventually going to be the Dremel workstation and sharpening table. But we're a long way from that. Sitting on it is the t-shirt press, which you can use a t-shirt press to heat up Kydex. Highly recommended. Eventually that's going to be over there where that spindle sander is, and that whole table is going to be a dedicated Kydex working place. We have a battlefield captured Soviet flag that was taken in Afghanistan. I think that's kind of cool, although I'm debating trying to do something else with it, because a lot of people get the impression I'm a fucking communist because it's hanging up there. They don't get that the reason it's fucking hanging up there is because some dude fucking died holding it. A family friend got that in Afghanistan in the 80s. Anyway, these lights that are everywhere are just fucking drop lights from Lowe's. I think they're like $6. They are really fucking handy. I don't have much of a light thing in this garage, so I had to kind of get creative. I need a few more of them because light really fucking helps doing all this shit. That is the garage door, which does open, although right now the motor's dead, so not gonna be doing that for you. There's nothing to look out there anyway. It's just fucking city street. Ashtray, even though I don't smoke. Don't ask. There's the spindle that was on that fucking grinding stand down there in the dark. Right over there. Anyway, basic shop tour. Kind of last but not least, some of the shit I'm making, I figured I would show off in this video. Might make a separate video for this too, but this I made is kind of an experiment. I wanted to make a Warhammer, and I had a railroad spike. I actually got a shitload of railroad spikes, so I'm probably making more of these. And that's a 1-inch oak dowel that I did a twist flame thing on. It's pretty fucking mean. I like it. This knife I'm doing a raffle for on Instagram. It's about half sold right now. I think there's 13 more spots. It's $10 a spot, 25 spots. I'd like to do more of that in the future. The one above it I made as a handle experiment. I'm probably going to sharpen that up and put it in like a car survival kit thing. This is one I made for myself. The brown handled one there I made to sell along with that black one. Fuck. I get the foot pedal every damn time. Sorry. Been trying the textured handle thing. That's pretty cool, I think. Well, anyway, those are scrap buckets. Wood and metal. Piece of railroad track, along with more junk. An old bed. I actually have quite a bit of vertical space in this garage. Stroller, the other side of the bed. I don't know how best to use that. I might put the fucking flag up there somewhere and then hang an American flag somewhere by it so people quit thinking I'm a communist. I've also got shelves I should probably put up over there. So, well, that's the whole knife making shop now. Hadn't made a YouTube video in forever. Figured this might be something cool to do. So, if you ever need a custom knife, holler at me. I'll make pretty much anything. Prices are expensive. That's anything handmade. It's going to be that way. Just from my own thing, people tend not to like the cheap stuff. Like, I can make all sorts of stuff for very little money, but it looks like shit. If you want it to really look nice, it gets into money. That knife right there would be $250, $300, pretty easy. I might make some videos of like how to make some basic shit. Like, I got into this 12 years ago because I was too fucking poor to buy a good knife. And I was thinking, wow, I could buy a piece of metal and then cheaply make my own knife. Ha! Ha 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 ha! It's a fake laugh, by the way. Every tool in this shop costs more than a fucking knife does. Every single goddamn one. Except maybe my first grinder. It probably doesn't, but you can buy a hell of a knife with just the money from the spindle sander. And that's probably one of the cheaper tools in here. Or actually, that drill press, $150. You could definitely buy a good knife for $150. Commercially made, whatever. It won't be as good as... Like this thing, the thing that makes it fucking good is this 5160 spring steel. It's well tempered. It's got a convex grind to it. And there basically is no secondary bevel on it. There's a silver line there. That's just where it's sharpened. Okay? That's not really a bevel. I guess I would call it a micro bevel, if anything. Makes a very, very fucking sharp knife. No one really commercially makes a knife that can compete with that. Besides maybe Mora. Mora makes their knives to actually cut with. Anyway, if you think this stuff's cool, comment, say something. It's not really gun related like most of my content is, but I figured some of you guys might think this is cool, and I'm probably going to post some more stuff like this and some more gun videos in the future. So, and especially updates on the shop as some of this gets cleaned up and squared away. You should see where this fucking garage started. It was full up to the edge of the stairs there of shit from front to back. Like, my whole family used this as a dumping ground for shit and storage for years and years and years. I finally moved into this house. I was like, you guys need to come get your shit. Like, why? Because I'm actually using the fucking garage. Anyway, they ended up not doing that, and I ended up throwing away a whole bunch of shit. Basically, 30, 40 years worth of shit. We've lived here a while. You can tell by the amount of fishing poles in the back, because no one ever fucking just buys 20 fucking fishing poles and puts them in the garage. That shit builds up over time. Okay, well, I'll see you guys later. Leave me a comment, and if you have a knife design that you just really want to have made, hit me up on Instagram. I'm at Klein Knives there. You can find me at PT26nut on there too, but it's really an empty page that is just holding the name. So, see you guys later.